This is Jessica Lynn Mold of Jessica Lynn Original. One of the very first cards that I ever made when I first started making cards was the Waterfall card. And I thought, you know what, let's take this all the way back and start from the beginning. The Waterfall card is extremely easy. I'm going to be putting all of the cuts that you need to do below, so it'll make more sense as we go through the process. So the first thing I'm going to do is gather some of my supplies. So I obviously have my cardstock, I have the main paper. Now this is going to be the wallpaper or the background, if you will, of the Waterfall card. I wanted something that was pretty and dynamic, and I fell in love with the zigzag pattern. I just thought it was adorable. I then chose two other cardstock pieces. Now they're 12 by 12, so we're going to be cutting them down. But they're from this Christmas cardstock that I got from Joann Fabrics many years ago, and it was on clearance for $8.97. Amazing deal. But what I really like about this is if you look at it, you can see there's a little bit of texture to it, so that'll look really great. I'm going to need, obviously, my cutter. For this card, we are going to be using Celine's Kittens, which is a brand new rubber stamp set from Jessica Lynn Original. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and actually apply the background or the wallpaper. I'm going to use my adhesive. Again, you can use any sort of adhesive you'd like, but I'm going to go ahead and glue it down. One of the things I like to do, now yes, I could pull out the cutter and cut out the right size. One of my cheats that I use often is to actually go ahead and glue that down, especially if I know that I'm not going to be putting anything else on it or under it. Putting it right on, and then what I'll do is I'll flip it over and just cut around it. Then I know it's solid, it fits, it's the exact same size. We'll go ahead and give it a little fold and a press. I might even use the little bone to go ahead and just put a nice crease along the back side. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we are going to cut 4 squares. We want them to be 1 7/8 by 1 7/8. And again, we're going to cut 4 of those. The next thing we're going to do is cut out the long strip, which needs to be 2 inches wide by 9 inches long. The next thing we're going to do is going to go ahead and create the imagery that'll be stamped on the top of these. Now, I'm going to go ahead and color this in fast motion so you don't have to watch it, but I went ahead and made these so that they'll actually fit on those 4 squares that we cut, the 1 7/8. So what I did, because the way this image is designed, the cat's laying down, and what I wanted to do is it's just a little narrower than the size of the squares because I wanted to have some of that blue show. So these are actually cut at 1 1/2 by 1 7/8 so that there's just a small border on both the top and the bottom. And you'll see that when we actually go ahead to put these together. Now, to color these cats in, again, you could color them in to match pets, family cats. If you were a cat rescue, how fun would that be if you went ahead and colored these like 4 of the cats that are currently available for adoption? That would be a lot of fun. I just went ahead and just picked some colors. I picked a gray, a white and gray, an orange color, and this one's kind of a reddish or rust color. One of the tricks that I found when coloring in these cats, because of their adorable eyes that sort of just pierce right through, I would highly suggest using 2 of the color of that you want to make their eyes. So example, if you want it to be green, use like a light green and then a dark green at the bottom. And what you find is that the eyes really pop. I'll be coloring that in just a moment. Now that the cats are all ready, let's go ahead and start to assemble this card. First thing I'm going to do is take those little blue squares that I cut, and I'm going to go ahead and mount the cat image right on there. So again, just like I talked about, I cut them just a hair smaller so that I would be able to get a small blue border on both the top and the bottom. So now you can see how cute all four of the kittens look. Now this little blue bar, we're going to talk about it in just a moment, but this is where it's going to go. So let me just slide all these over. Next, we're going to go ahead and get that 9 by 2 inch strip of colored cardstock. Now, I chose white, you could have picked any color. Starting at the end of the strip, we're going to go ahead and score it in a couple of places. We're going to score it first at the 2 inch mark. Then we're going to score it at 2 3/4, 3 1/2, and finally 4 1/4. Again, I will put all of those measurements and directions below, so if you're not sure how to do it, just go ahead and take a look below the video. Then we're going to go ahead and fold along the scored lines, and when we're folding, you're going to want to fold it forward. Okay, now we're going to change gears and we're going to go ahead and add that little horizontal strip. And what I would suggest is just do about 1/4 inch of glue. If you look, just a very little bit, just on the ends. You're going to want to put it up about 1 inch from the bottom. And then what you want to make sure is you can see now, I can still get my finger underneath that little bar. The next thing we're going to do is actually go ahead and assemble the rest of this card. You can see to test it out, I put the 2x9 underneath. the little horizontal bar. Now I'm going to want to attach glue. Now this is, if you take a look, see there's all the bended end and it's on the inside. See how that falls? I want to make sure I center it on the horizontal bar and glue it in place. Okay, we're just going to push down, make sure it's nice and tight. Now from here, we're going to go ahead and take all 4, and you can see I'm just testing it out to see if it moves, and it does. From here, I'm going to go ahead and get the 4 cats. I'm going to decide what order I want them to waterfall, if you will. Once I have them ready, I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of glue. Now the very first one, I can actually glue all the way down. Put him down here and center him, because I would like, and again, I made it just a little narrower than the 2-inch wide strip so that again I have that really cute little border. So I'm just trying to frame and mount everything. I'm going to go ahead and continue to add the cats, and as you can see I'm only going to put the glue just across the top, just one line of glue. Line it up with the other cat just below the bend. Again, another just one strip of glue at that bend mark again, so you can see right at the bend. And then the final cat is going to go up on that top bend. Again, just one single line of glue. Alright, now it's time to test the card. Make sure your cats are all in place. I can grab the bottom part under that horizontal bar, and look at that, each cat is going to flip through just like a waterfall. Again, this was one of the very first cards I ever learned how to make, and I thought, you know what, let's do a quick video. I just wanted to take a quick moment to say thank you so much for watching my video. If you like what I'm doing, I'm going to pop a little Brentwood up. Please go ahead and click on that and subscribe. I'm going to also go ahead and bring up 2 videos for you that I'd love for you to watch. Thank you again for watching. I hope that you have a great day. Please leave me some comments below. I would love to hear from you.